Hi guys, welcome to the Game Breakers podcast. We have
Let's see.
Daniel here. Happy Halloween, everybody. How was your guys' Halloween?
Uh, it was terrible. I didn't get to go anywhere last night because I had to babysit two adults. Very unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
I kind of had like a late day, so I just chilled back and just relaxed really. How was yours?
It was pretty good. I went to Wynwood.
Bro got drunk. Tell me your parlays. Tell me your parlays.
Oh yeah, I ended up making like 3 or 4 parlays and I didn't even realize, and they all hit. So
They all
That's
hit.
crazy.
bro.
I woke up, I checked my sleeper app, and I won like $150.
Just off of you not even knowing you did it?
Yes, I didn't even know.
That's something crazy, though, bro.
So Halloween was yesterday. We also had a Thursday night game.
Mhm.
Had the Houston Texans versus New York Jets. It was a pretty bad game. I mean, it was sloppy from start to finish. The Jets had a touchdown. Well, what should have been a touchdown early on, but Malachi Corley fumbled the ball at the goal line.
They be doing that all the time, too. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I just don't get why players
Just keep the ball.
just run into the end zone and then celebrate. It's such a terrible decision. And then you also had turnovers, fumbles early on, a lot of penalties. But the Jets ended up having a good second half. They came away with that win there. What did you guys think about the Jets' performance?
It was a good performance from Aaron Rodgers in the second half. I mean, not too much to say. It was a boring game, but what's his name? The new wide receiver.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, he had a good game. I think he had like a touchdown, but it was a decent game though.
Garrett Wilson went off in the second
yeah.
half.
Oh, that catch was
And he-
crazy. Yeah,
That was
catch
probably the best catch I've seen since the Odell
Yeah.
Beckham catch.
Yeah, he stretched for that.
I agree. I think it was kind of a boring game, but honestly, I was waiting for the Jets to do some kind of commotion like towards the season, but finally they got their win with Devontae Adams. So, I kind of also expected the Texans to not really win, especially with all these receivers out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely expected Houston's offense to struggle with Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs out. And we did see that. C.J. Stroud, they didn't get much going on through the air. Joe Mixon was really good in the rushing game, but it wasn't enough to keep track with the Jets in that second half. So moving forward, we are on to Week 9 of the NFL season. We've been breaking down the last few weeks, and we got some good games this week. So we'll start off with my team, the Dolphins, going against the Bills. Got a divisional.
Why is that interesting? is a blowout interesting to you?
See, he thinks it's going to be a blowout, but I mean, if we look at recent history, it actually probably will be a blowout.
Honestly, I agree with that too. I think it'll be an easy game for Bills to win.
It could be, but Miami has played better. Well, they did play better last week with Tua back in the lineup, and they're going against a Buffalo team who's been a little inconsistent this year. They did beat Miami pretty easily in the first matchup where Tua ended up getting hurt. But I think the Dolphins can keep the game competitive. The run game is the biggest thing that when Tua left, they were forced to run the ball more, and that's what Miami's needed the last couple of years. So I think adding that as a development into the offense is something they're going to need to stay on track with teams like the Bills.
I mean, you're delusional. I'll tell you straight, but we'll see what happens. So who do you have winning though?
So, yeah, I have the Bills winning the game, but I think Miami can keep it competitive. It's just Miami hasn't played good against Buffalo as of recently. I think the last time they beat them in Buffalo was like 2015 or 2016. So, yeah, I think Buffalo will come away with the win.
At least you're honest about that. Who do you have, Lucy?
I have the Bills taking that game.
Okay.
I think the Dolphins have been having like a disappointing season so far, but with the way Tua came back, I think they'll improve this game. So, but I still do think ultimately it'll be an easy game for the Bills to win.
Yeah, I got Bill smoking the Dolphins.
Yeah, especially how they
Smoking is
played,
crazy.
especially how they played last week against the Seahawks, and with the addition of Mark Cooper.
I think the biggest thing with the Amari Cooper trade is it's opened up for Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir, their other receivers. Like, Coleman's had 2 of his best games of the season the last couple of weeks since Cooper's been in. So I think more than just adding another receiver, he's also taking attention from the other guys, and that's allowing them to play better. So moving on to another good matchup this week, we also have the Lions versus Packers, which is a 4 o'clock game. This is probably for first place in the division. They also have another matchup coming on later in the season.
Yeah.
But this is definitely probably the best matchup of the week. You have the Lions, who are Super Bowl favorites at the moment. They've been playing really well. And the Packers, who they can play well any given week. They're a little more inconsistent, but that offense has some firepower to stay on track with anybody.
Yeah, I agree. The production of Jared Goff and the Lions' toughness to be winning games after the major blows that they have, I feel like it's very impressive. And just the way how they're able to run their offense, I love how they play. So just on a watching and entertainment standpoint, I want to watch that game. But there's some importance to this game. The first seeded Lions versus the second seeded Packers. It's important, like you said.
I also think the Lions are going to take this win, especially with Jordan Love's being questionable. I also don't think Malik Willis is going to, go out there and play, phenomenal against the Lions, because I think the Lions have, like, a phenomenal run game. Jared Goff has been balling out, so I think the Lions right now look unstoppable.
Yeah, the Packers seem to get pushed back by teams that are dominant up front and in the trenches. They're not very good against physical teams, and Detroit embodies that completely. I mean, they're one of the best rushing teams in the league. They have an amazing offensive line, so I think they're going to be too powerful and too much to overcome for Green Bay. I have Detroit winning that game.
I think so too, but the Packers having they have 24 total touchdowns this whole season, which is I think third in the whole NFL, and they're a great receiving and rushing team. So I feel like with the Lions having a depleted defense, I feel like they're able to cause some trouble for them. So because of that, if Jordan Love is there, I'm gonna have the Packers winning. But if he's not there, I'm gonna take the Lions.
Same for you?
No, I still have the Lions winning.
Okay. Either way. So another game at the 4 o'clock window, Rams versus Seahawks, another divisional matchup, which is a good one. The Rams looked amazing last week when Stafford came back. Nakua came back and Cooper Kupp. Completely changed their offense. They went from one of the worst teams in the league to beating the Vikings, who are one of the better teams in the league. And that offense moved effortlessly down the field with Nakua and Cooper Kupp. It just makes everything work better, opens up the run game too with Kyron Williams, who they've been leaning on this year. And Seattle's defense, honestly, as of late, hasn't been very good. They got blown out by Buffalo last week. The start to the season, the first 3 games, they were looking like one of the better defenses in the league. But since then, they've petered off a lot. So I think the Rams can keep this game close, actually.
I agree too. But Puka, I don't think he's going to play this season. Not season, but this game.
Puka?
Yeah, he got like a knee injury.
Oh, he's out?
Yeah. No, I don't know if he's out, but it's unlikely. So that might change stuff. But I agree with what you're saying too. Geno and the Seahawks, they love to pass the ball. So if the defense is able to, give him some pressure, I feel like they're going to be able to win that game as well.
I'm also taking the Rams. The Seahawks have lost 4 of their 5 games. And with their receivers back, I think LA is like a much tougher out. And I like their offense, how it's built up. So also, it's going to be an NFC West showdown. So ultimately, I think the Rams are going to come out victorious.
I'm going to take the Rams too.
Yeah, anything can happen in a divisional matchup. I'm going to take the Seahawks. I think they have a little more firepower on the offensive side of the ball. The matchup I will say is that offensive line versus the Rams' defensive line, who has been pretty good this year. You got Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk. They have a lot of guys on that defensive line that are breaking out this season. And Seattle, aside from the left tackle Charles Cross, doesn't have much on that side of the ball. So that could be a big matchup this week as they disrupt Geno Smith in that offense. But I do have the Seahawks winning a close game there. So moving on, we also have the Cowboys versus the Falcons in the 1 o'clock window. Cowboys coming off a game versus San Fran where they almost snuck back in the late half of that game. They end up losing by 1 score. And the Falcons coming off a pretty impressive performance. This is probably 2 of the more hyped teams in the NFC coming into the season, but both teams aren't really serious contenders. It will be interesting to see Rico Dowdle back in the lineup for the Cowboys. Hopefully that run game gets going more than it did last week. And I think the Cowboys will come away with the win here.
The Cowboys? I went to the Falcons with this one. I just chose Kirk Cousins on the whole Falcons team overall. But 2 touchdowns. They're gonna win by 2 touchdowns.
That's a lot.
I'm gonna tell you that.
I also take the Falcons. I think the Cowboys defense right now has been really bad lately. Even though Michael Parsons out, I still think even with him out, it's still more than just the defense really being horrible. They went from being the top 5 defense last season to where they are right now. And on top of that, they have no run game, absolutely 0. So for the Falcons, they have the win right in front of them. So I think it'll be a home game for them too. It is a home game for them too, so I think they'll come out dominant.
So you guys both have the Falcons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys come away with the win here in a narrow win. They got CeeDee Lamb involved finally late in the game last week, and the offense looked good. They moved down the field almost 3 straight times on San Francisco. And I think the Falcons are a way lesser defense than, obviously, the 49ers. So if they can get Rico Dowdle back and work that run game into their offense, I think they can come away with a win.
I agree.
Moving on to another game I found interesting this week was the Chargers versus the Browns. What did you guys think of Jameis Winston's season debut last week?
I think he came out to do what he's supposed to do. You know, backup quarterbacks, they're supposed to be ready for this kind of moment. So he came and showed out. And, you know, ultimately, he's known for throwing interceptions. I still think he did pretty good during that game. So hopefully the next game versus the Chargers, he keeps up that same momentum.
He tried to throw a pick at the end of that Ravens game.
Yeah, very late too.
They got lucky that they dropped that one. But Geno did play good. He honestly played better than Watson's been playing this season by a mile.
Right.
He added a new element to that Browns offense, which was the deep ball. He threw a lot of them last week in the win versus the Ravens. But the Chargers do have a good defense led by one of the lead head coach candidates for next year, Jesse Minter. He's leading that Chargers defense. He's completely transformed it this season. So it is going to be a tough matchup on that side of the ball. But also on the other side, the Chargers have been playing better recently on the offense. Justin Herbert started the season slow, but lately he's been playing very good. And the Browns have a good defense that picked it up last week. So I think it's a pretty even matchup overall.
So who do you think is going to win?
I'm going to say the Chargers.
Okay.
I don't think Jameis Winston can replicate that performance from last week.
I'm going to take the Chargers, too.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Chargers, and I do think it's going to be a good game to watch. Both teams have good defenses, and I feel like both offenses could put up points. I mean, the Chargers are currently the NFL's #1 scoring defense, and with Winston now playing, I mean, he's prone to throwing interceptions with the way he airballs all those balls. So ultimately, I think the Chargers win this game. But yeah, I think it'll be close, but I do think they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm glad we see Herbert playing better as of late. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but obviously the first 3 to 4 weeks didn't really show that. But they have been using rookie receiver Ladd McConkey. He's really come on as of late. He had a huge game last week, and I think he's been that #1 option for them so far. On the Browns side, too, since trading Amari Cooper, they've had some other guys break out, like Cedric Tillman. And David Njoku, too, is getting a lot of targets. So I think the Browns do have some weapons that can keep that offense going.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, last matchup we're going to have highlighted is the Colts versus Vikings, which is the Sunday night game this week. Anthony Richardson was benched this week. Any opinions on the benching?
It makes a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah, I think people saw this coming.
Yeah, he's been playing terrible. So
Well, not even that, with the comment he said last week. So I think the majority came from that.
Can you explain just you subbing out? Were you hurt? Were you injured? Were you tired?
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there, what I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play. So
I will say, when the Colts drafted Anthony Richardson 4th overall,
unexpected.
I mean, he was a projected project quarterback that they had to develop.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, if you're benching him after 10 career starts when you already viewed him as a project coming out of college, I feel like that's a little premature.
Mm-hmm.
At least give him a full season of games.
But if you think about it, they're drafting their franchise quarterback, and if you hear your franchise quarterback, "Oh, I'm tired, take me out the game," what would you personally think as the higher ups?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, if you're not trying to play, then don't play for me.
Right. It's a bunch of 1,000 quarterbacks already lined up that they're ready to take that position. So I think it was a good decision for them to bench him.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, Flacco doesn't make him a Super Bowl contender, so
I agree with
him. I don't feel like he does either.
Yeah, but at least you get to see his development and see what he is as a player. That's a player you use the top 4 pick on. That's a big asset.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but if you have somebody that doesn't want to give your all, I don't want you on my team.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer to have a veteran like Joe Flacco, or I'm orchestrating my whole offense than someone that's gonna probably hinder us same way. But I mean, I think over time he might get some right game, or not right now. He needs to chill.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's valid. I think him getting pulled out the game or him taking himself out the game stirred a lot of people in the wrong way, which I get it. Obviously, you should never, especially as the franchise quarterback, you should never take yourself out the game just for being tired. I mean, they could have called a run play or something, but I wouldn't go as far to say as he doesn't want to play or doesn't want to give his max effort for just one play out of 50, 60 snaps in a game.
I don't know. He's a professional football player. You're getting paid to do this stuff.
Yeah.
You can't be coming out again because you're tired like that. It doesn't make sense.
But
But
yeah.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Colts offense has kind of been better with Joe Flacco, at least in the passing game. They get guys like Michael Pittman and Josh Downs involved, but they are going into tough Vikings defense, who has been kind of letting up a lot of points the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I think the Vikings defense will get back on track this week and come away with the win in prime time.
I'm also taking the Vikings. The Vikings, they should be able to pull off this win. Their offense is good enough. Their run game with Aaron Jones is good too. But although their defense is concerning, I don't think Joe Flacco is that type of guy where he's going to throw 350-plus yards, especially with the Vikings defense and offense. So, yeah, I think the Vikings are going to come out with this win.
Yeah, I agree with her. I'm not expecting Joe Flacco to go crazy, but, I'm going to take the Vikings still.
Yeah, and then do have the Buccaneers-Chiefs Monday night game. I don't think it'll be all too interesting of a
That's gonna be a
game.
good
Yeah.
game.
I mean, Mike Evans and Godwin out for the Buccaneers. Their
Oh, yeah.
Their offense was kind of rough last week, so I don't think there's any way they top the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going undefeated this season.
I'd hope not. Cause I don't want Mahomes to get MVP.
I mean,
I honestly, the way he's playing, even if they went undefeated, I don't know if he'd win MVP. Like,
That'd be crazy, though.
look at the remaining schedule. I mean, Bucks this week, then the Broncos next week should be wins. The Bills, November 17th, 2 weeks from now, should be their biggest test, honestly, of the season. But other than that, I don't see many losable games for the Chiefs. So
Not for real.
if they can get through the next 3 weeks and without a loss, then it could be a realistic
Has there ever
possibility.
been like an undefeated team before?
Yeah, the Dolphins.
No way.
bro.
Are you for real? When?
In like
That
1973,
Bro,
That doesn't count.
the Dolphins went
about-
undefeated in the regular season and won the Super Bowl.
the 21st century, though.
The Patriots went 16-0 in the regular season, but then they lost in the Super Bowl.
With Brady?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chiefs have a chance to do it, and I think they could go all the way if that's the case. But yeah, a lot of good games this week in the NFL. We gave our predictions and our breakdowns. Make sure to tune into those games this week, see how things unfold, as we have a lot more action unfolding down the stretch in the NFL. And that'll be it for today's segment. All right, welcome back to the Game Breakers podcast. Today we have some more NBA coverage. About a week and a half, 2 weeks of NBA action so far, and it's the best time of the year other than the playoffs. There's nothing more a fan wants to do than overreact to
Yeah.
1 week of games. All our off-season predictions and thoughts, they all unfold as the season goes along. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is sharing our overreactions.
Well, before
But
we get
first-
started with that, because of the season of Halloween, I just want to ask some couple questions. What's scarier? And then you two just tell me what you think. So what's scarier? Peyton Pritchard taking a game-winning half-court shot, or Ben Simmons making 2 free throws to win the game?
I'm going to say Peyton Pritchard taking the shot because, I mean, he's got like a 90% success rate on buzzer beaters at this point.
Oh, you
I was going to say Ben Simmons.
2 free throws?
Yeah. Because the way, over the years, how, like, he's been as a person or even as a player, like, So, yeah, I choose him.
See, I think just losing off a Peyton Pritchard shot is like...
All right, what about Shaq in the post or an ISO against Kyrie? Both of them are 1v1.
no help or double team.
No help or double team.
I'm going to say Shaq.
Shaq's scary.
Yeah.
I got to say Shaq, yeah. Because, like...
Balls in the face,
That's
and then I'll
tough.
push out.
Because, like, Kyrie, I mean, at least if he takes a jumper, there's a chance he misses. But,
No, but yeah, that's true. But he might like cross you up and then. All right, what
yeah, but
about
Shaq's just going to run me over.
what about getting your ankles broken like AI to Ty Lue, or getting posted like DeAndre Jordan on Brandon Jennings? What's scarier?
Poster.
Yeah.
The
I say
poster.
the poster, too.
No,
Which
the
one do you feel is more iconic though? I feel like the step over was more iconic.
I'll say the AI one, but just because Allen Iverson, I feel like.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree.
I think getting dunked on is worse than getting crossed.
It looked-
And he fell on the floor and all of it. It was nasty. All right, last one. A 6'6" Trae Young or a 6'6" Giannis? Which one's scarier?
6'6" Giannis.
Yeah, like he was short too.
Trae Young.
Trae Young, you think Trae Young?
I'll say Giannis.
Why?
Well, because isn't Giannis already like what 6'9"?
Now he's like
He's
6'11",
like
7
Something
seven
like-
foot.
Something like that.
yeah.
So what about his height is gonna change really much?
I feel like
He's
his
still
height is like very
Yeah,
crucial.
if
But I still he's gonna be explosive the way he is.
if his height went down, like he wouldn't be as good. I feel like.
I don't feel like he would be able to.
True,
run
but
around.
6'6" is still a good height in the
Yeah,
NBA.
I agree.
6'6" Giannis is just Zion.
But I feel like at 6'6", Trae Young is crazy.
Dude, that 6'6" Trey Young is like
Pull
one
him
of the
from
best
half
scorers
court.
in the league, bro.
All right, but that's all I had though.
All right, moving on to our overreaction so far early on in the season. Why don't you start us off?
Me? All right, so talking about Giannis, he's one of my first overreactions. Giannis will be on a new team at the start of next season. This also coincides with the Bucks will miss the playoffs completely this season. What do you guys think is the biggest concern about the Bucks this
It's
season?
got to be the defense.
Wait, why do you? Well, what team would you think he would be in?
I don't know yet,
Same.
but I just feel like
Okay.
he's gonna like request a
Miami.
trade. No,
Yeah, absolutely,
absolutely
not.
not.
That's not happening.
No, the
Low
Bucks are.
key though, like what if he goes to OKC? What if OKC trades J-Dub?
That would be crazy.
Chase J-Dub, their Clippers pick, which is like a top 5, top 10 pick maybe, and like 4 or 5 other picks on like some role player off the bench.
I mean, yeah, if I'm the Bucks, I definitely do that. But
Exactly.
I feel like OKC kind of feels they have a contending team right now.
Well, yeah, but
So why would they want to risk those young assets for a more expensive contract?
I get what you're saying, but it's Giannis, and then 2, there's gonna be a time where they're not gonna have enough space on their team to have all those picks either way. So I feel like using that to get somebody like Giannis would be really good for them.
The thing is, the Bucks are a second apron team, which puts a lot of trade restrictions on them. They would have to clear space, like getting rid of Middleton and Lopez before doing a Giannis trade.
Even before that.
Yeah, because if you're in the second apron, I believe you can only take in one player on a trade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he's gonna request a trade though. But yeah, I feel like the biggest issue is having Doc Rivers as your head coach and Darvin Ham as your right hand man.
That's
They-
a hell of a coaching staff.
They're ranked 24th in both offense and defense. They have been lackluster and they've been not producing as they should. Having Giannis and Dame is really good for your team, but Giannis is dropping 30 points a game. They're still losing. They got blown out by the Memphis Grizzlies, who have been underperforming.
Yeah.
And Giannis had 39, 40 points. Like, that's unacceptable. Dame had a terrible game, but still. But talking about that, I know that Chris Middleton is supposed to return, so maybe their offense does get better. But I don't feel like their defense is going to get any better.
That's the thing is their defense has just been losing them games.
Yeah, their guard play or their point of attack defense is terrible because you have your best defender is probably Gary Trent Jr. or Taurean Prince.
Yeah.
You're getting cooked every time. And I feel like with that, they're aging. There's no elite ball defenders like I talked about. There's no identity like Giannis talked about. And there's no cohesion. I don't feel like they're a team. They're just a bunch of players wearing a jersey. So with all of that, and I feel like their terrible start is 1-4. I feel like they're going to be better. I feel like they're going to be a playing team. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't feel like they're going to make top 8.
Yeah.
If they keep Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham as their coaches, they're not going to go anywhere.
They're gonna
I mean,
have
we've
to.
seen how Doc Rivers coaches teams prior and how far they've been. Like, they're not going to get nowhere.
They're
really
paying
with
3
him.
coaches right now. They're paying Budenholzer. They're paying the guy from last year who they fired, and they're paying him right now. They can't fire him. They're gonna be paying 4 coaches one time. They can't do that. So they're actually stuck, and I feel like their window is completely done.
That's another thing is Doc Rivers, like, he keeps getting roles, but I feel like his defensive schemes, no matter where he goes, are always, like, under par, especially
Yeah.
when he was with the Sixers.
And that's why they fired the coach last year. I don't remember his name, but he got fired because of their defense was terrible. When Doc got there, it got better, but their offense got worse, and they started losing way more games. And then it's the same thing this season. Their
Yeah.
defense is very bad. I know they're not winning games the same way, so they're very stuck right now. I feel like the window for them to win a championship is officially over.
Yeah, I'd be out on the Bucks this season also. For my overreaction, I'm also out on the Denver Nuggets, who's kind of a similar team
What
structure,
about
at
them,
least
though?
to
Like,
the
you don't
Bucks.
feel like they're gonna make the playoffs?
I think they'll make the playoffs,
Oh,
but
okay.
I mean, their hopes as a championship contender,
They seem like they're completely closed.
I don't think they're a championship contender this season.
Okay.
Looking at some of the teams at the top in each conference, I mean, Denver's just like they've had elite performances by Jokic this season, and
Yeah.
sometimes they can't even get over the hump and get the win.
I feel like they had 2 OT games against the Raptors and the Brooklyn
The
Nets.
Nets, Jokic had like a 30-point triple-double with like 18 assists or something crazy, and they barely beat the Nets.
I feel like the biggest difference between them and the Nuggets and the Bucks is that they have actual players and role players that can actually
Oh,
produce.
the Nuggets are definitely a better team.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to
They
get
can't
back to that level they
yeah.
were when they won the championship.
I agree with you. What about you?
With the Nuggets and the Bucks.
Or just
What-
your overreaction.
What's your like?
Oh, my
yeah.
reaction. Okay, so my first overreaction is that JJ Redick is going to be great with the Lakers.
Mhm.
The Lakers are 3-2 right now. They beat 3 really good teams, which is Minnesota, Phoenix, and Sacramento. They're also owners of a top 5 offense, and I believe with like a strong bench depth and Redick's strategic leadership, the Lakers are like positioned for a legit push towards the finals. So that's
The
my first
finals?
reaction. Yes, the finals.
I hope so.
I think they have a chance.
You think so too?
Honestly, I don't want to see that. I'm not going to lie. LeBron.
What? No,
Why not?
that's hate.
Especially
You
during
don't want to
the-
see LeBron back in the finals?
I want to see him. That's why you.
Oh,
said
I thought you said-
don't-
yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. I want to see LeBron.
Oh yeah, I want to see him.
I thought you said you didn't want to see him.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I agree too. I wish I mean, that's very unlikely though. But like, I just feel like there's.
No, yeah,
so
it's
much
unlikely,
Yeah,
but-
I just feel like it's overreaction.
But Redick definitely was a good hire.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. It's been it's been shaky, I should say, with these 2 losses. I mean, the Suns one, I can get over that, but the last time against the Cavaliers was terrible.
Yeah, that was their first really bad game of the season.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was even his fault, JJ Redick. I think it was the defense overall because the Cavs were not missing any shots in the first quarter. It was like 40-24. It was terrible, but
And the
They're
Cavs are also a really good team. They're what,
they're
6-0,
5-0.
5-0 in the season?
Yeah, I think them and OKC. They're the only undefeated teams.
Yeah.
But yeah. I was talking about LeBron and the Lakers. I feel like this is LeBron's actual first year declining as a player. Now
Declining is crazy.
I know I'm not gonna say he's falling off a cliff. I'm not gonna be an all-star. He's gonna be an all-star same way, an all-NBA player. But he's averaging 21, 6, and 7 on Amazing Spirits. That's good. But I feel like the way how JJ Redick is running the offense, this is the first time in his tenure at the Lakers that they're actually making AD the focal point to the offense. And like I said, I'm not saying he's gonna play it bad, but I feel like he's gonna be 40 next year 22. I don't feel like he's not only physically drained, but he's also mentally drained, just doing this over and over and over. The biggest motivation is to me Bronny. So if Bronny was in the league, I feel like he would be gone much sooner. So just being there, it's gonna give him some extra years. But
You saw his recent comments. He
Boy.
might want to play with Bryce now.
that's I'm not surprised, bro.
That would be crazy.
Right.
They're about to have a whole starting 5 of LeBron DNA. soon.
Zeri next. But I just don't feel like LeBron's gonna be the guy anymore in the Lakers, and because of that, I just feel like he's declining. He's just getting older, of course, so don't expect too much crazy games like previous times.
I definitely could see the case for him declining. I will say his slight drop in production also could be a product of the system, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, just not using him as a main scoring option,
Mhm.
which, I mean, it's worked. The Lakers' offense has
Yeah,
been
for
better
sure.
this season than in prior years, so I think it's more of a product of that.
Mm.
And my next overreaction is I think the Suns are actual contenders this season. I feel like coming into the year, a lot of people viewed them as a good team, but not one that can actually contend at the top of the West and make a finals. But they've honestly looked really good this season. They've looked like probably a top 3 team in the NBA so far. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. And I love what they've gotten by rookie Ryan Dunn so far.
Yeah.
I mean, he was projected to come into the league as an elite defender, which he's been, but the jump shot was not something that was projected to transition immediately, and it has. I mean, he's shooting in the high 30% from downtown. Obviously, Kevin Durant's putting together some of his best stretch of play in the last
There's a
couple of
Booker
years.
too. Yeah, like 40.
Yeah, and Bradley Beal's been good in his role, so I really like the Suns this season. They've looked better than I expected.
I mean, the Suns are 7th right now in the NBA with 3 points made with 15 a game, and they're top 3 in percentage. So
Mhm.
they're shooting really good. They're having out of forward spacing, and they actually have a point guard, which was their main issue last year. So it's really doing them justice this year.
Yeah, like you said with the 3-point percentage, that's the only thing is they're shooting it so well that to keep winning like this, they're going to have to keep that up.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's definitely been encouraging. They have shooters to do it, so.
Okay, so for my next overreaction, I have put down the Pacers. I've taken a step back. So the Pacers are 2-3 starting the 2024 season with Halliburton points per game averaging at only 14, which is a major decrease considering last season. They suffered a blowout loss against the Knicks and lost in overtime with the Sixers, who aren't even healthy right now. But honestly, the primary concern has been the lackluster of performance within their star players. So, yeah.
Yeah, Pacers don't look great this season. Obviously, they made some noise last year going into the playoffs, but they've just been really confusing this year. I mean, they're not really using Andrew Nembhard a lot at all, who was amazing last year, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Tyrese Halliburton's usage has been kind of inconsistent. So.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're using. He used to be the offensive engine, the main focal point last year, and they're not doing that right now. I feel like they're focusing more on Siakam than Halliburton.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's affecting not just his game, but everybody's game overall. But last year they were first in pace. They're 12th this year. They dropped significantly because I feel they're running through Siakam instead. I don't know why Halliburton isn't controlling the offense like he was last year because he's healthy now. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Okay, next, overreaction. All right, this is my craziest one. OKC will be the third team to win 70 games in a season.
70?
They're going to win 70 games.
Honestly, I could see it. I'm not going to lie.
They have a top 5 two-way player in Shai, paired with a mini KD with DPOY performances every game. They have another versatile jack-of-all-trades wing in J-Dub, surrounded by amazing perimeter defenders with Dort and Caruso, forward spacing ability, a deep bench, elite coaching.
They have everything.
No,
that team looks amazing, man.
Let's just hope they stay healthy, though.
That's the only thing. If they stay healthy, I really see them winning 70 games. They won 57 last year. Easier said than done for them to win 13 more games, but I feel like it's possible. I just love their. I hate their team because they're so good. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of them.
I love to watch them. They're
I love watching them. I hate seeing them win though. I can't.
So, do you think they're going to take the Western Conference?
Yeah, I feel like
I think for sure.
they're going to the finals. I have them going to the finals.
They're 4-0 at the moment. They play Portland tonight. Looks like another win.
And
So
they're playing the Clippers. I
start
think,
out 5-0,
tomorrow, too.
6-0 on the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, that team's just they're so fun to watch. I mean, they can get everybody involved at any time. And then it's like even the guys coming off the bench like Aaron Wiggins or Lou Dort, like they have so many.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, Isaiah Joe. They have so many guys that can step in and produce and give them different stuff, like whether it's shooting.
And
or-
all this is happening so Isaiah Hartenstein, which I feel like is going to be a major factor to their offense and defense. But yeah, like if you go to the 5 and just playing the 4, that's crazy.
That's the thing is
They can switch up their lineups anytime they want.
they're kind of low on depth right now. Like they're playing who's it? AJ Flagler a lot at the moment.
Yeah. Is Jay Will playing?
No, he didn't play last game.
Oh,
So yeah, they're kind of low on depth, especially in the front court.
yeah.
And that's the crazy thing is they've been playing this well without him. So Thunder are scary. And my last overreaction is gonna be LaMelo Ball backing off of my last week's take. I think he's a top 5 point guard in the NBA right now.
Right now,
Yeah,
give me a top 5.
you got Shea,
Okay.
Luka.
Okay.
I mean, it's also like how you want to.
I don't want to hear it. No.
But Shea and Luka, I would consider point guard.
Yeah.
Shea, Luka, Curry.
Okay. You think Chris playing like a top 5 point guard right now?
Through 5 games of the season, probably not. But I think
Overall,
probably
okay,
got to
okay.
give it a little more time.
Mm.
And then after that, you can kind of start.
Trey.
You got Trae Young, and who LaMelo honestly has been playing as good as Trae Young this season.
Nah, I'm just pressing you. I agree. So.
Donovan
agree.
Mitchell, if you want to put him at the, if you want to put him
Nah,
at the
Mitchell
one
is 2. Man. I think Girl's the 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say LaMelo is right there, either 4 or 5.
Nah, but LaMelo has been playing. Every time he goes crazy, I just think about when he told me you're dark horse. I'm like, damn, he's correct, bro. But I hope that
He's got to stay healthy.
I feel like they're gonna be the 8th seed. They're gonna be the reason why Bucks don't make the playoffs.
I thought they couldn't make the playoffs last time.
I lied. I didn't know LaMelo was gonna play like this, bro.
LaMelo's been cooking.
Yeah.
His jump shot is like weird. I don't.
It's
Dude.
so I love watching it because I'm like, what are you doing?
You
And,
notice he
like-
like kind of kicks
One
one
leg,
leg.
yeah.
Yeah. Like he'll shoot from distance and he kind of kicks one leg off the court like a fadeaway almost.
Yeah, bro. Like he plays like he doesn't care,
Yeah.
but he scores, so you can't even cuss for real.
Yeah, his shot is crazy, but he's been hitting threes at a crazy
Yeah,
clip.
I love
this
watching him
season.
play though.
So that is my last overreaction.
Okay, so my final reaction is the Mavs offense has best in the league potential. The Mavs are 3-2, and with their trio, Luka, Kyrie, and Clay, hitting shots and their supporting cast, Lively and Grimes, they've been able to achieve an offensive rating of 115.2. So I think, we don't make it far into the season. Honestly, I was going to put down really that the Mavs were going to win the chip, but that's too much of the overreaction, so I kind of just
Nah,
dwindled
go
down to
crazy.
this.
Serious, yeah.
No, I think this was a good
Okay,
overreaction.
okay.
So
Number one, it could happen. They have the talent.
I mean, aside, I think they could give. They're the only team that could give OKC a run for the money, just because of front
Or
court.
Boston.
Well, in the West, I mean.
Oh, okay. But you said like overall in the NBA.
yeah,
Okay,
it has best in the league potential.
I agree.
And I feel like Luka's been amazing, but I feel like he hasn't
could be
given them MVP play right now. So if he can play a little better, Kyrie's been really good.
And Clay been doing what he needs to as well.
Yeah, I think the first 3 games he had 4 or more 3-pointers made.
Mm-hmm. And then I bet it is over, and then he got 9 points.
Literally, I think 7 actually.
Bro, that shit pissed me
He was
off.
like on fire, and then the one game I bet he doesn't do anything, bro. And it's like his off games are so hard to watch because
Yeah.
he takes just the toughest shots, and once he misses one, he just keeps shooting them.
But I'm glad he's on a different team though. It shows, I want to see Draymond on our next team. I want to see how good he actually is outside of the Warriors offense.
Dude, I feel like Draymond's one of the more overrated players
I
in
agree.
the last decade and a half.
He said that. I'm hearing lots of Wemby and Chet talk.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Bro, he's so funny, bro.
Like, man, he can't even score 5 points. Like, at the end of the day, if he's one of your top options on your team, he's got to be able to. I get he does a lot facilitating and
Yeah.
being
But
a connector
I
on
want to see
offense.
him do that on a different team.
Yeah.
Or is it just the Warriors offense why he's able to do this?
I mean, honestly, this season it hasn't really looked as.
I mean, I guess, but they're 4-1, so they're not doing terrible. Well,
No, I'm saying for Draymond, though.
oh, overall, yeah.
I
But
have
he's
a
a good
question
offensive connector, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
for you guys. Do you guys think Klay Thompson is gonna beat the washed allegations with the Mavericks?
Yeah, for sure.
I think he is. If he stays like this, he's doing it right now.
Like, he's not doing anything crazy, but he's
If he-
definitely showing he's not washed.
if he plays, if he goes like 0 for 10, like that last time in a very big game, he's
Yeah.
cooked. Like
We finally just got away from the 0 for 10
yeah,
games.
because you can't be doing all this in like small games, and then like a big game comes up and you go and go. It's like you can't do that, bro.
It's the problem with his game as he's like completely relies on tough moving threes. Like, that's a tough shot
Yeah.
to sustain. So.
Talking about that though, I think this might be Russell Westbrook's last season in the NBA, like as an actual contributor to that team. He's playing terrible. I feel like with the Nuggets, like the first 2 games, he was doing decent because they were playing him out like the 3-4, and then he was doing like a pick run with Jokic, and he was good, but teams caught up to
Yeah,
that.
he had like one good game.
Yeah, it was against the Nets too. I think that went to OT. That's when I bet it is under, and then. But yeah.
Yeah, so in the future, if we do some betting predictions, do not take Kamani's advice.
don't take my advice, cause
Take mine. I went 3 for 3 yesterday.
only when he's drunk though.
Bro.
3 for 3. I'll put it up on the screen. So yeah, about 2 weeks into the season, those are our overreactions. I'm sure more will come as the season goes along,
Yeah.
as we actually see what is true in the NBA. But things change fast, and there's a lot going on. So make sure to stay tuned, and we'll keep you guys covered as the year goes on. Thank you for watching the 3rd episode of the Game Breakers podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you want to hear in the future or your thoughts on some of our predictions today. And make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode as we cover more NBA and NFL action. Peace.
Bro.